Hey, welcome. I'm Darrel Bowman, and this is BizTech Talk, and I'm your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor. Thank you for joining us today and every Tuesday from noon to 1 for BizTech Talk, where we're hosting discussions with local and national business leaders.
Hey, throughout our show, we're going to be talking to a variety of high-tech professionals and business professionals as well about the latest technology and business trends which are happening today and coming tomorrow. And we got to thank the folks that are here today. Stephanie Hoffman and Teresa Varela are going to be joining us in a few minutes to talk about a new trend that's sweeping the nation called BYOD, Bring Your Own Device. Right?
And this is different than the BYOB that the contractors with the department or the state transportation had going
when
on
you think about it, yeah,
this is a little bit different.
And we're talking about how that affects the small to medium business and the IT departments and how they actually deal with and manage all of that variation of technology they have to bring in and then use it so that each of the persons that are working for the company and being productive can then be productive using their own type of device.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting how some of the larger organizations originally embraced this and now they're relooking at it. And but as you read about it and listen to some of the different things that are going on, it sounds like it's still a great opportunity for small businesses, but still a challenge.
Well, it is a really big challenge given the fact that, as an IT director, a guy that actually did all that support, you bring in all these different items and you standardize everything usually. That's the way it used to happen, so we can minimize the cost of support and the time it takes and so forth. And then all of a sudden, the iPad comes out, the Android came out, and the Macintosh comes out, and everybody's going, I want that. And your CEO says, I've got to have that because it's cool, and I've got to look cool when I go into that board meeting next week, and you better make it work. And so the IT guy is going, okay, I got to do that, but you're not giving me any extra resources or anything like that. So how do I figure that all out so that I challenge against my security and everything else that I have to deal with?
Yeah, but on the front end, most of us don't really care about the security aspect.
See, that's why you're not going to be here long.
We really, we really want to know how are we going to be able to increase productivity so we're able to save time and make more money.
Well, that's the whole point, but you got to think about that. Most people in business, they don't think about the fact that the IT is about that. It's an integral part of their company, and it isn't just about, hey, I've got a business decision. If it isn't taken into account what your IT is and how it functions from an IT perspective, then, you're really missing the boat.
Security is important, and that is one of the biggest aspects that most small business owners I wouldn't say necessarily fail to take a look at, but they that comes last. And
IT becomes an afterthought. It's like, I want to have that. Now I got to figure out how to put it in, and boy, that can be pretty costly at times.
Or they're switching to the next best thing and stuff. And so hopefully, with some of these different topics that we bring to the table, it will get them out of the idea of the week and help them implement a plan that is better for them and their business.
Yeah, and that is a big thing, is about implementing a plan, getting it going, and that includes all parts of your business and so forth. So this is really kind of cool, and we got to also put a hand out there and say thank you to the people out there that listen to the show and that actually are going out there and doing what they can to hire veterans and look for veteran-owned businesses, and in a way that they can help the community, because we are, as we've always said, we're advocates for veterans and veteran-owned businesses. So any way you can put your money where your mouth is and help our nation grow and help our patriots that helped us protect the nation, we're there for you.
Well, speaking of hiring veterans, Darrel, and I hope maybe you'll be a little bit patient with me, I want to talk a little bit about a new study that was released by the Center of the New American Society. It's a nonpartisan group that studies defense policies, and they worked with about 87 different business leaders representing 69 companies, and they found both good and bad things associated with hiring veterans. On the good side is that hiring veterans because of their leadership and teamwork skills, but they also recommend that the Pentagon and the Labor Department do a better job helping new veterans explain the skills that they acquired in the military. The one negative thing that they talked about, and this is one of the things that I think that we should really work on, is how do we help our business owners out there understand and get over the negative stereotypes about veterans, including their concerns about post-traumatic stress, because the veterans really do bring that leadership, their purpose and direction and motivation to help businesses.
That is a
move
big
their
concern,
stuff.
when somebody comes in there, and there's been a lot of press about PTSD and so forth. So, if there's a way that they can alleviate that and work with them, then, that's important. It is.
So yeah, I mean, it's a good study. I read it in the USA Today, but I think it's a good thing to start talking about is how do we overcome some of those negative connotations, and then also help our business owners understand how those skills, even though they might be an infantryman, translate over to being a good, solid performer in your unit.
Hey, the way I like to say it, in the military, regardless of what the service is and the branch that they come in, they have one mantra, and that is get stuff done. That's politely said because I know they say it a different way when they're get it done, and they're very good at it. And I know, having both you and I being in the military and veterans, we get it. So
speaking of getting it done, maybe this is a good time to get some advertisement done and pay a few bills.
So I'm Darrel Bowman, and this is BizTech Talk.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor, and we'll be right back. You're listening to Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office N and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office N and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at OfficeNandIcon.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM Business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at AimBiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to AimBiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Welcome back to BizTech Talk. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional here.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
Hey, we're here every Tuesday from noon to 1. Visit us at biztechtalk.net. Listen to our shows, download our podcasts, and email us with your comments and suggestions at info@biztechtalk.net. And today here, we are talking live with Teresa Varela and Stephanie Hoffman, both of the 2112 group out of New York. So anyway, I want to introduce Teresa, and I'm going to talk a little bit about what is the 2112 group and how is that. I know that you are a strategic, the vice president of client relations at 2112 group, overseeing the 2112 channel consulting, research, and the content services, as well as any special projects and that kind of stuff. And you've been around the industry quite a while with UBM Media, CRN Magazine, Exchange, and Electronic Engineering Times. So you've been out there quite a while, and so tell us a little bit about that. What the 2112 group does, Teresa?
Sure. Thanks for having me. And of course, when you say it's been around a while, it just makes me feel very old. But I have been in the channel for 20 years. It's a market I absolutely love. And at 2112, and the simplest way to describe what we do is we help companies build a better channel. And that could be through our research and consulting services, content creation and development, advisory councils, and other activities to just give you a stronger presence to message to you so you give your customers the right information and solutions.
Oh, awesome. So tell me a little bit about the things that you're talking about with your channel partners about that, because you're helping with the technology and changing the technology and that kind of thing. So and what they need to be watching out for. What's the big trend today for bring your own device? What's that mean? What's that mean to them?
Well, so Stephanie Hoffman's online as well, and she is our editor and subject matter expert. So I'm going to turn that over to her. But we are seeing this as a transformative time. Cloud, mobility, bring your own device, all of that is coming together, and it's a turning point in the channel that we're seeing. But she can give you more technical light on that.
So for you techies, when you're talking about bring your own device, just for the basic listener out there, what is bring your own device? What are we talking about?
I think that really means about bringing your iPad, bringing your Android device, bringing your Macintosh, your PC, whatever it is, that thing that makes you electronically connected to the web or otherwise. And what, in my estimation, it's your style of getting work done. So how do you like to work, and what makes you productive? Because, you prefer a Mac over a PC or an Android over a Linux box or whatever that is. And so that's the multiple devices out there, and there's plenty more of them with WebOS and so forth. And Stephanie, thanks for joining us as well. And, a little bit about Stephanie. Stephanie's with the 2112 group and Channelnomics, which is the group that's under 2112 that talks about working with the channel. Is that correct?
Yes, that is our organization's blog, and which is updated with daily news, breaking channel news every day.
Fantastic. Well, yeah, I know from experience. You and I have had a lot of conversations over the years. You were an editor, a security editor at CRN Magazine. You covered major security companies over the last several years, and all aspects of working with technology companies, as well as very high-profile malware attacks, data breaches, and other security threats that have happened around the world and so forth. You've also toured the U.S. as a writer for a travel trade publication, which I'm really jealous of, by the way. And, you've kind of been around for a while. You've got a master's degree in magazine journalism from University of Oregon, so you are from the Northwest. That is so cool. And a little bit of a degree from Cornell. Yeah, we'll forgive you for that. And then, but the really cool thing is you're a salsa dancer, right?
A renowned salsa dancer, right?
On a team even, really?
Yeah, forget everything else.
Yeah. So, but anyway, tell us a little bit about that, how the bring your own device, and answer a little bit to help me with Mel's question. Is that on the money for you?
Yes. Bring your own device. Just in the last 12 months. I think even 2 years ago, BYOD wasn't even in sort of IT vernacular, and now it's everywhere. It's probably one of the most important IT trends there is out there, and it's explosive. And it's explosive because it affects all market segments. There isn't a market segment that's, from the enterprise down to the smallest, SMB that isn't touched somehow by users wanting to bring their own devices to work. And it's a matter of simplicity and ease of use, because as the lines between, the workplace and home life and personal life are continuously blurred, users, workers want to keep it simple. They want to use one device for everything. They want to use one device to, download pictures to Facebook and call their kids, and pull up those business critical spreadsheets. It just makes it easier, because people are working at home. They're working from coffee shops and trains and airports, and sometimes they're not even going into an office. So the BYOD trend is it's a necessary evil. It's an inevitability.
So, Stephanie, you talked a lot about how it benefits the employees, but how are small and medium-sized businesses benefiting from the BYOD?
And that's the SMB, so we want to make sure that we cover that for folks.
Right. Well, like I mentioned, BYOD is pretty much benefiting every market segment. but the SMB, because the SMB in particular just has less. So in some ways it's benefiting them differently and benefiting them more. BYOD is seen as a business enabler. It allows them, flexibility. It allows them to use less resources. Users don't have to come into the office. They can, use their work devices, work from home, work from anywhere if they want to go pick up their kids from a soccer game in the middle of the day. They can, that mobility and that flexibility allows them to do that, facilitated by BYOD.
And they don't have the small to medium business doesn't have to buy the equipment either. They're essentially leveraging whatever the employee decides is works for them. They're leveraging that equipment to utilize for their business, and they're saving capital expenses in this regard, right?
Exactly. And so it works for the workers. It works for the employers. It also allows SMBs to be, if they want to, entirely decentralized. I mean, a lot of businesses don't even have a central office. It allows workers to work weekends. It allows them to work late at night if that's what they need. So it increases productivity. And it takes away those overhead costs facilitated by a sort of centralized location, and it allows them much more flexibility.
And that just means that they have to have a back end all set up to be able to utilize all of those things. You don't just walk into it and say, "Hey, I brought my own device, and and now I want to work." But no, you have to fix it so your organization has the capacity to be able to handle that and manage your security, making sure that your data is protected and that it's not walking away on a device that could be get lost or whatever.
Right. Well, therein lies the challenge. I mean, so yes, while ostensibly BYOD is a productivity enabler, which it is, it comes with its own set of challenges. And one of the biggest challenges, and we're going to talk about several of the challenges, but one of the biggest ones is management. I mean, with all these disparate devices, users, they prefer iPads or they prefer iPhones or a wide array of Android devices, or some even still have BlackBerries. So
sorry about that, Rim.
Whatever the device they choose, they're all working from the same network, and they all have to be managed, and that creates a lot of challenges for any organization, but for SMBs, that don't have necessarily dedicated IT staff or dedicated security staff. Maybe that one or two IT person team they might have is dedicated to just keeping the network up and running, and can't put as much time into management. So,
but when you're having to support all the different devices and the connectivity, and then making sure that everything works seamlessly, and knowing all about that stuff. It's the fallacy that everybody, because IT, everything, and you don't. You have to learn everything as you go along.
So how do I protect myself as a business owner? I mean, that's one of the last things we think about is that security aspect. I mean, we probably think more about control. And being able to control where our employees are, what they're doing, how productive they really are. But when it comes down to it, how do we deal with that?
Well, there's lots of ways. And for SMBs, they have to get creative because, like I mentioned before, they don't have the monetary resources. They don't have the huge dedicated budgets. Ultimately, SMB organizations will have to implement some kind of security policy for all that brings together all these mobile devices. Everyone has to be on the same page. And in order for these security policies to be enforced, that basically requires comprehensive management and monitoring. That's where the channel comes in, for the SMB, especially if they don't have the resources for an IT person. Channel partners, dedicated IT channel partner can help facilitate, that security policy, bring everyone together, all these disparate devices, implement, for basic, antivirus, mobile antivirus, anti-malware, remote device wiping, in case of data loss, DLP, and other security solutions, that help protect data on all these devices.
Well, the cloud is playing a big portion of this thing as well. I mean, because we're talking about, we're bringing your own device. At the same time, the cloud is coming in, and as your president and CEO would say, the cloud is a myth, right? I just read that the other day, and it is. It's really a myth. We're all in different locations, and I like his comments on that. Why the cloud is a myth, but the implementing resources into the cloud is part of this whole thing. And so BYOD with cloud, tell us how that impact is well, and then why do they say it's a myth?
Well, I'll start with your last question first. While the cloud is very real, I think it's what it's able to achieve is a myth. I think it's been sort of fantasized, quite a bit. Basically, we believe, the cloud is a means to an end. It's a vehicle to, for which organizations can achieve their objectives, cost-saving objectives, meet, mission critical, business objectives. I think where it becomes myth is when for organizations it becomes the be-all, end-all. When organizations need to adopt cloud or feel like they need to because everybody else is, and really not understand why they're doing it, or jump on the cloud bandwagon without actually having done comprehensive infrastructure assessments to figure out what should be migrated to the cloud and what shouldn't be migrated to the cloud. And it differs for every organization. Every organization has different needs, different infrastructure needs. I mean, even in the SMB, a small doctor's office is going to have vastly different needs because of compliance, HIPAA, and very sensitive patient medical information than a small flower florist or a garage, for example, who also has IT needs, but their needs are very different.
But are these challenges unique because of the cloud or the BYOD that you wouldn't otherwise encounter enterprise-wide otherwise?
So basically, I mean, as I mentioned before, SMB, some of the challenges that the BYOD and in the cloud bring to the SMB face different challenges simply because they don't have the resources that their enterprise counterparts do. So, whereas a large enterprise can dedicate, has a security team, to bolster security defenses, to make sure that they're in compliance, to make sure that they're, within, having a legal team, for e-discovery purposes and so forth and so on. The SMB doesn't have any of that.
Well, yeah, they rely on their technology IT partners to help them with all of those decisions and so forth, and that's an appropriate thing for them to do because they have to outsource other things as well, whether it's their accounting functions or their some of the business consulting, whatever those kinds of things that they outsource. They have to help rely on building their organization in from using an outsourced model and an in-source model. But
very well said, Darrel. But speaking of partners, why don't we go ahead and take a break? Talk with a few of our sponsors and let them
we're just going to hear from them, right? I think. Yeah, pay a couple bills. We'll let them talk for a little bit on us. Okay, I'm Darrel Bowman, and your IT professional, and
this is Mel West, your business advisor, and you're listening to Clay 1180, and we'll be right back after these messages.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at officeandicon.com.
Tacoma's Waterfront. A unique local asset providing recreational opportunities, jobs to support the local economy, and a safe haven for marine wildlife. The Tacoma Waterfront Association is dedicated to promoting Tacoma's waterfront. Join the TWA at its popular monthly meeting to learn more about Tacoma's waterfront and how you can be a part of making it great. Join the TWA on the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Center for Urban Waters to be a part of the community strength that's making a difference for Tacoma's greatest asset. It's waterfront. For more info, visit TacomaWaterfrontAssociation.org. That's TacomaWaterfrontAssociation.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
That's a fact. Hey, welcome back to BizTech Talk. I'm Darrel Bowman.
And I'm Mel West.
And we're here on Clay 1180 every Tuesday, noon to 1. Don't forget to visit us at biztechtalk.net. Listen to our shows, download our podcasts, and go to iTunes. They're even there.
Find us on Facebook.
Hey, we're there.
Go out there and like us on Facebook.
Hey, there we are. And give us any questions, comments, or suggestions at info@biztechtalk.net. And today we are talking about BYOD and the cloud and virtualization, that kind of stuff, with Stephanie Hoffman and Teresa Varela from the 2112 group out of New York. So thanks for joining us, folks, again. And we were talking a little bit about the challenges and so forth that the SMB, the small to medium business, faces when they're talking about BYOD and the cloud. So what kinds of security issues are they talking about when they're using the same equipment at home that they would use for work with regards to somebody who games and all that kind of thing? So would that be Stephanie?
Sure. There are untold security challenges that arise because of multiple users using multiple devices in and out of the office. Basically, it comes down to a lack of control. I mean, if users are using the same device, to download games, or to give their kids, that they do for these very sensitive, business critical applications, there's a very high chance, that they could, visit a malicious site, download malware, and if that malware gets on the device, it compromises, the security of that data, especially if that device is not protected.
And that's if you're using that device and you're actually letting them download your corporate data onto their personal device, right?
Right.
And so the best solution from a technical perspective, in my opinion, would not be to let them download anything that they can onto their device, being able to work it from the cloud if you can do that, or from the remote site in your own personal private cloud at your location. So for those people listening, try to keep it off their device if it's to bring your own device.
But what are some of those other maybe security practices that small businesses could utilize to, incorporate in the BYOD? Because you can say don't do it, and that's a policy, but it's going to happen. So what are some other best practices?
Well, you got to make sure that people have antivirus installed on their local machine if they're going to be able to connect to your device, to your server at your corporate network. Would you agree, Steph?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, it's just fundamental, basic security infrastructure. If one of the biggest threats, with the BYOD trend, I mean, it is actually accidental or unintentional. I mean, it's so easy, as anyone with a mobile phone knows. It's so easy to leave them in restaurants or taxi cabs or wherever, and then you have all that data residing on that device, and it's gone. Whether it will be exposed, who knows? But it definitely creates huge security holes and a huge risk for organizations of any size.
Well, airports are the number one places for laptops and those kinds of things to be stolen.
Absolutely, because there are so many remote and traveling workers. It's just a hotbed of of loot.
So how do I protect myself? I'm a business owner. I've got these BYODs out there, and we've got people running around. Somebody sets one down on the counter at a restaurant,
and they left themselves logged in.
And they don't have the nice little password or the what's that sketcha.
Well, that would be one of the things that you would implement. You got to have a password,
right?
Yeah.
And somebody has access to the phone. How do you protect yourself? You talked about antivirus, but what are the steps beyond that?
Remote wipe is a good one, right?
Yeah.
Right, but what is that? I mean, what's it do for you? How do they access it?
Here, I'll take that one real quick. I mean, hey, what you do in that regard is if you have your system, you're allowing that person to utilize your systems and have that information downloaded. What you want to have is a simple implementation of remote wipe, meaning that if you notify somebody or if there's a certain number of logins that are bad into the device, that they don't get the password right over 4 times or whatever, that it automatically wipes the device clean, and so it has no data on it anymore, and you can you're protected in that manner. Or there's also some LoJack kind of software as well that you can have installed on there that goes into the BIOS, that no matter how many times they upload or change the machine, that you can actually track that on the internet to find out where it's at, the devices when they log in.
And what are some of those software or apps? They're apps that do that. When you're not talking about.
I'm not going to talk about everybody's app because there's like literally
well, I know,
dozens
but
of them.
There's a few that are nice or better than others, right?
Well, I'm sure there are, but one of the big things is that research is what's going to be for what device, and to bring your own devices. There's probably hundreds in every different category for every one, and until we get to a specific one, which one you're going to use. I mean, Dell offers one when they sell their computers. HP offers them as well. So when you have that, it's in the device. It's inherent. Nobody even knows it's there except for you as the person that installed it. And we had a work not too long ago where somebody's laptop got stolen, and we were taking pictures of the person who stole it with the camera there, and then posting them saying, hey, here's the guy that stole your device. And the police picked him up. That was kind of fun.
Well, if somebody's not taking advantage of hiring somebody like mynetworkcompany.com, and they're going to run their own in-house, where do they go to find out some information about these types of apps or programs?
That would be Google. I'm serious, because I'm not trying to be flip or anything like that. Just do a little bit of research. It's going to get there quickly. You don't you can go to your local IT resource and so forth and talk to those folks, and that'll help you out tremendously. But if you're going to do personal research, just go to Google, start typing in the words, and start looking through the things that you need. Their apps will show up, and the people who are more prevalent in the industry have done their research, and they've got the search engine optimization going, so they're hitting at the top of the list, and they're the people that you want to be looking at in the top 10 to 20, I would imagine. From your perspective, that's from the consumer side, but the folks who we're with today, they're really about the commercial side and not about the consumer side. So I think we need to really.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. The business side. What is it? What are the programs that can protect you?
Those are the things where I think you need to sit down with somebody that's specific to your business. You can't just go out there and I'm not going to promote other people's products. It's just not going to do that.
Okay.
I'd rather just go out and say these are, whether it's if you're using an Apple environment, you're using a Linux environment, you're using a Windows environment, what are you using, and what's best for you, depending on whether you're a dentist, a chiropractor, or are you a construction firm? What's best for the equipment that you have, and who her purchases are, and what's your budget? Because that's another thing to consider as well. And then, but with social media, as they often said that BYOD and social media go hand in hand, how are these two trends interconnected, and what would you do out there, Stacy and Teresa, to make sure that you're protected, and how do they affect the small and medium business?
Well, but yeah, like obviously, I think for a lot of organizations, a lot of users, the social media trends and the BYOD trends, are inextricably linked. People use, their mobile devices to get on these social networks, which also can be a huge, business enabler. I mean, it's basically free marketing, could be a wonderful marketing tool. But there again, the use of these social networks, it introduces potential security risks for an organization. The biggest one, is data loss. I mean, it could be either unintentional or malicious, but, users, maybe a disgruntled worker, going on a rant about their organization or, accidentally revealing, a product launch or something like that could be sensitive. It could be, picked up by competitors. Information travels so fast, I mean, in nanoseconds over social networks. And so data loss, is the biggest, potential. Also, there again, viruses, Trojans, malware travels over these social networks. And and it's more, Facebook has almost 1 billion users now. So, of course, cyber criminals are targeting these applications. They have a very, very big audience. So there's a very high potential of being infected, of getting malware, of compromising the device, through these social networks. So, like I said, the security of application control and security of these social networks, is inextricably linked to the security on mobile devices.
Well, very good. Why don't we go ahead and take a break here? We're here talking with Stephanie and Teresa from the 2112 group.
2112
group.
not
there
the
we go.
211.
Oh, yeah, there we go. I screwed that up again. But anyway,
Okay.
You're talking with
Darrel Bowman
and Mel West, and we'll be
right
back. We're listening to Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Few things say more about your business than the quality of the photos in your ads and on your website. Corporate photographer Rick Doms specializes in custom photography for discriminating corporations around the world and right here in Tacoma. Rick's photos have graced the pages of Forbes, Fortune, Barron's, the Wall Street Journal, and the marketing materials of a host of great American companies. Companies like yours. See what Rick Doms photography can do for your business on the web at rickdoms.com. RICKDAHMS.com.
AimBiz.com brings you the life of a business website. The majority of business websites can't be found by search engines, so their owners lose customers and money. An AIM business website wins new customers on Google and Facebook. Imagine your website with great content management, an integrated blog, clean designs, and clear messages. To top it off, at AimBiz.com, you get a free website design mock-up before you ever spend a dime. For more information, go to AimBiz.com. That's AIMBIZ.com.
Tacoma's waterfront. A unique local asset providing recreational opportunities, jobs to support the local economy, and a safe haven for marine wildlife. The Tacoma Waterfront Association is dedicated to promoting Tacoma's waterfront. Join the TWA at its popular monthly meeting to learn more about Tacoma's waterfront and how you can be a part of making it great. Join the TWA on the second Wednesday of each month from 11:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Center for Urban Waters to be a part of the community's strength that's making a difference for Tacoma's greatest asset. It's waterfront. For more info, visit TacomaWaterfrontAssociation.org. That's TacomaWaterfrontAssociation.org.
In Pierce County, 17% of residents are food insecure. That's 1 in 6 people who are unsure where their next meal is coming from. Someone you know is going hungry. What can you do about it? Help support Fish Food Banks of Pierce County. For every dollar received, Fish's 8 food bank locations can distribute $7 worth of food to families in need. To learn more about stopping hunger here in Pierce County, go to fishfoodbanks.org. That's fishfoodbanks.org.
Hey, welcome back. I'm Darrel Bowman, your IT professional.
And I'm Mel West, your business advisor.
We're here on Clay 1180 on BizTech Talk at .net. So that's where you need to find us every day, looking for our podcasts and our shows and giving us information about what you want to see next at info@biztechtalk.net. So we're here with Teresa Valera and Stephanie Hoffman. We're talking about BYOD and the challenges that the small to medium businesses face. So, you know, Teresa and Stephanie, we were talking before the break about, you know, security and those kinds of things, and, you know, and the web, and we're talking about social media, but you know, more and more people are talking about cloud computing, and it's adopting in smaller markets. How is that being affected in your minds in the BYOD and so forth? How is that affected?
How does cloud affect?
How is cloud computing affecting the smaller markets? And since more people are adopting, is that BYOD? Is that effective? Is it or is it not? And you know, are there obstacles from adopting it or not adopting it?
Yes, to all of it. More SMBs are. Well, first of all, I digress. Cloud is generating a lot of interest in the SMB, and I think of all the market segments, SMBs have a lot to. They can receive the most benefits from cloud. The reason being is because it basically allows them to do more with less. It allows them to focus on growing their business, which is what they're good at in the first place, and essentially outsourcing critical IT functions that are necessary, but they really don't have the skill or expertise or staff to be able to do. So the cloud essentially allows them to be able to do that, you know, via channel partners, you know, to put that in somebody else's hands and let them focus on growing their business. So it has huge benefits for for the SMB.
Well, you know, you and I spoke a while back on a little bit of cloud computing and BYOD, and you know, as mynetworkcompany.com, one of the things that we created because of that was Office and an Icon, and that really is the ability to put your complete Microsoft infrastructure in the cloud, so that you have a desktop and you have an application, and you're integrated with all of your services and so forth in the cloud, so you absolutely have nothing that actually is down on a device while you're operating there, and you have your own computer, your own server, and all the applications, all the data is backed up, and all the security. And that's why we did it, so that to tackle the SMB space and allow for them to utilize, and I mean the small to medium business, any device they wanted to. So if it was a device, whether it's an Apple iPad, a Macintosh, a ThinkPad, or some kind of web OS device, it didn't really matter. All we would do is connect in a website, and then you would open up and you'd have your own desktop and be able to have that complete functionality without ever having it download onto your device, and so we could protect that encrypted wise. And that's our way of doing the BYOD protection, the security, and so forth. I'm sure other people are doing a combination where it's down on the desktop, a little bit of application on the desktop, a little bit in the cloud, and so forth. But we've tackled it in that regard, so that we've gotten rid of the obstacles, we've gotten rid of the support, we've gotten rid of that maintenance issues and all that, so that the customer can just minimize the time they spend thinking about that. Like as Mel and I talked about in the earlier part of this conversation, was IT is the last thing we think about, and it is usually.
So are they able to access that cloud and that desktop that's in the cloud from their smartphone?
They can, if you have the right smartphone. I mean, I can do it from an iPhone, or you can do it from some Android devices. We do that, but I don't recommend it.
So what are some of the biggest obstacles? Compliance, cost, maintenance, or whatever. What's some of the biggest obstacles related to that?
Well, I think the biggest obstacles that people relate is just getting over the fear of being in the cloud and understanding how their business will operate in the cloud. And then the biggest thing, and I think that people, from my perspective, has always been, is, okay, I'm moving into the cloud, I'm getting rid of buying all that infrastructure cost, that capital expense, but I still have to understand that, I've got to pay for a service, not unlike your cell phone. When you pay for your cell phone service, it's about roughly the same cost. And they go, well, I bought my stuff and then I didn't pay anything to get it serviced. But that's a misnomer, because computers and servers and those kinds always in the small to medium business require maintenance on a regular basis, no different than your car does. And a lot of folks I find in the small to medium business don't do that. They just let it go and go and go until it crashes and say, "Oh, I gotta fix it now." And so they're working in arrears, and that's a big problem in the SMB market. So that's an obstacle overcoming that adoption from a widespread, in my opinion. I don't know how you would think about that, Stephanie, from you working with your other folks out there and the other channel partners. Have you heard that before?
Yeah, absolutely. There's quite a few obstacles, and like you mentioned, Darrel, one of the biggest ones is just fear of the unknown. It's a completely different the structure. It's a completely, the subscription model is different. So they have to financially they have to do a little bit of shifting, and then you're right. Well, they don't have heavy infrastructure costs and maybe overhead costs. They still have to have somebody manage and monitor that data and maintain that data. So it's just sort of a different approach and adjustment. SMBs just they'll get there, but they just have to make that adjustment.
Well, they made the adjustment to a smartphone and all access to the smartphone, where everybody's buying into the phone is give me everything I want, unlimited access for data, minutes, and all that kind of stuff. And I think people have made that adjustment, and so eventually they'll make the adjustment. They just have to understand that, I don't have to buy that huge server anymore, and I don't have to buy all those desktops.
So how is this cloud different than an enterprise cloud? For the small.
Are you talking about the Office in an Icon cloud? Well, it is an enterprise cloud, actually.
Or whether it's the Office in an Icon cloud, or just the SMB, what an SMB would use.
Well, the Office in an Icon is a scalable virtual services network. I mean, it gives you everything that you need from Windows Active Server Directory, from one user all the way up to 10,000 users, and it's scalable and contractable based upon the number of users that you have. So that's the scalability that we did. So it's not a terminal services server application. You're actually you get your own physical desktop, and you have no different than if you were sitting at one in front of a Windows desktop in front of you and a server across the enterprise that you were connected to, whether that's for your email or for your application and your QuickBooks or whatever it is that you're dealing with on a routine basis. All that information is there. It's just not it's not on your local hard drive so that you can access it from anywhere at any time and never have to worry about upgrading it, because it's always there. So there's no upgrade or cost associated with, no support costs, and it really becomes just an expense, no different than your phone. And that's why how we've addressed it, and I think that's important, because it eliminates those obstacles and makes it an enabler, and huge benefits in that regard.
So are there going to be more small businesses adopting this, and what could facilitate further adoption?
Well, I think people are. Wouldn't you agree, Steph and Teresa, that people are going to be adopting the cloud? It's just another thing that's out there. It's today's fad, or whatever you will. The cloud is, and so is BYOD. And 5 years from now, there'll be something different, right?
Absolutely. And there will, I think, be more adoption in SMB and as in all market segments with cloud. I think, after you have this sort of mad gold rush, organizations will become more strategic about it. Really do some assessment. What can be moved to the cloud? What shouldn't be moved to the cloud? How can I do that? I mean, in reality, as much as everyone likes to think of 100% of infrastructure or 90% of infrastructure will be cloud, that's really not the reality. Most organizations will have some kind of hybrid approach of on-premise and cloud infrastructure, and they'll need sort of a holistic window, probably provided by the channel, to be able to oversee all of it and be able to manage it. So,
well, that's what I appreciate that, but from our perspective, we're going to try to get them all the way up there. and that's and just because I think it's in our my perspective, and there's going to be a lot of different perspectives throughout the channel and throughout the United States and America and the world, actually, in how that's going to be adopted. So there's a lot of choices, there's a lot of information, there's a lot of research that needs to be done on your behalf as a business, but work with your trusted IT advisor, work with your trusted business advisor, work with those people that you know that you can relate to and that have your best interest in heart, and you know what? You'll find a solution that best fits you. So we're coming close to the end of the hour, and I got to say thanks, Stephanie and Teresa, for joining us. This has been really informative, and I think we've gained a lot of knowledge today.
I think it's been instrumental, and the next thing on the topic is that BYOA, right? Bring your own app. And stuff. So.
Oh my God, they're going to do that too. Oh God.
So we're going to be
building your own app.
Talking about
Build
that
your own
soon,
app.
right? Because that's the biggest thing. I mean, BYOD is important.
Well,
but...
building your own it's becoming easier to build the app now, so people are going to want to build their own.
Stephanie and Teresa, thank you so much for joining us.
And is there anything that you want to leave us with on how to contact you and/or see you? I think it's at the 2112group.com, right?
Yes, and channelnomics.com.
Channelnomics. I mean, not that anybody can spell that, but that's okay.
Go to the 2112 group.
Okay, well, thanks again. And as always, Mel and I want to thank everybody for taking the time from their day to share with us and explore the worlds of business and technology every week on BizTech Talk. So, we're going to be talking from the weeks on out and every week about what you can do for veterans. And again, we started out at this hour talking about veteran and veteran-owned businesses and how to get those people employed. And Mel, you want to close with
thank our veterans. Just thank them for the service that they've done, but also seek out veteran-owned businesses and give our veterans a chance. And I would really challenge you to let go of that stereotype of the post-traumatic stress disorder and really look at the leadership.
That's a small percentage of folks. So really, that's right. And it's just like every society, a small percentage of folks make a perception that that isn't there necessarily. And even if the folks that do have that PTSD, those folks, they need help in our support.
But it is the leadership and the can-do attitude that's really going to set them apart from any other candidate that you may hire.
So anyway, thanks again for joining us, and every week here on BizTech Talk, I'm Darrel Bowman.
And I'm Mel West, and thanks for your listening to Clay 1180.
CloudSway removes the hassle of small business financial management. Easily upload receipts, bills, invoices, POs, and other business expenses through your mobile device, email, or scanner. CloudSway automatically scans your data and matches each transaction to your bank and credit cards. Invite staff to send their corporate receipts, allowing the team to contribute and collaborate, managing all company financial data in one location. CloudSway's reports and alerts help to guard against fraud and expense abuse. CloudSway makes it easy to protect your company's most prized possession, its financial security. Visit cloudsway.com.
Are you tired of maintaining or upgrading your business technology year after year just to keep up? Moore's Law states technology will keep getting faster and smaller year after year. Office and Icon is making Moore's Law obsolete by giving you infinite computing power. It's always new with unlimited resources. It's fast, affordable, secure, reliable, and flexible with endless CPU, RAM, and hard drive. Never worry about a virus, upgrades, backups, or patches again. With Office and Icon, your office is anywhere at any time from any device. Unleash your power at officeandicon.com.
In today's economy, doing more with less has become the standard. Feeling overwhelmed or out of control does not have to be part of that standard. If you are looking for improved profitability and better teamwork, West Business Concepts' expertise in sales, organizational development, and finance offers real-world solutions today. West Business Concepts helps you develop clarity and focus on who matters most. Gain an edge over your competition. Visit westbusinessconcepts.com today. That's westbusinessconcepts.com.